Hi, and welcome to the HUMA Beats and Eats podcast. I'm your host, Marnie Wood, and I have the most amazing pleasure of having Mr. Dave Verdi and Club 66. I'm going to interview him and talk about him and talk about the facility, and we're going to get started. Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. And I think you're building me up a little too much.
No, not at all. I don't think so.
I appreciate that great introduction. And it's really a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. And I'm super excited we get to do it from Club 66. I got a little tour. It's really neat. It's a neat place. So the first time I was here was not too long ago, a couple weekends ago. Crack the Sky played, and I walked in and it reminded me of like a little tavern in Nashville. Like, I just felt like it's such a cool place. So I was really impressed. It's very cool.
So we've had people play here that are from England. And a lot of times people that come here and play from England say that this building reminds them of buildings in Liverpool and in Hamburg as well.
Yeah. It's like a little cavern. It's very cool. If you get a chance, come on out. So how did you get started in music? Because you have, now I'm not 100% sure, but you were in a couple bands. I know Memphis Sons.
Yes. I'm in the current band I'm in is called Memphis Sons. So in the 40 years that I've been here, I've been in 4 different bands. Mm-hmm. Music was always part of my life growing up. I can remember as a kid, as far back as maybe 5 years old, my mom would put a record player in my crib and hand me a stack of records. And
that's so cool.
I just loved music from before I can remember, life itself.
What were the records? What were the albums you were?
So it was one of those little record players that had the big pole, and all it would play was 45s. Mm-hmm. And, my mom would stick whatever she had, and I would just play them to death.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then how did it?
And my grandfather played accordion, and I had a cousin that played accordion. My other grandfather sang.
My grandfather played accordion too.
My favorite instrument by far. I think anybody that can play accordion well is very talented because there's a lot going on there.
Yeah.
But anyway, music was always part of our family gatherings growing up, and so it got in me at a young age.
Yeah. Was it? Do you have siblings?
I have one brother.
Was he into music as well?
He played first clarinet in the school orchestra.
And then how did you start to get involved with bands and progress?
So when I was about 14 or maybe 15, the church I grew up in, they started a band, and they asked me if I would play drums in it. So that was my first professional engagement as a player, and we really had a lot of success. We played all over the tri-state area. Even one time we got to open up for the Bill and Gloria Gaither Trio.
Oh, cool.
At the Baltimore Civic Center.
Wow, that's
so
neat.
At a young age of 15 or so, maybe 16, I got to play at the Baltimore Civic Center.
Very cool, very cool.
And it was a great opportunity and a great learning experience working with all those people, because the average age of everybody in that band, there were 10 singers and 7 musicians. I think it was 17 people. And the average age of everybody in that band was, late 50s, early 60s. And I was the kid on drums.
Yeah. You were in a young blood.
I was.
That's awesome. Then what was the next step? Did you get the bug then and you were like, I want to play out?
I did that until I got to be a senior in high school. And then I wanted to join the Marine Corps, which I did after I graduated. So I passed the sticks on to I guess he would have been a young man at the time. He was a couple years younger than me, and
Yeah.
And that was the last I played for quite a long time until I came here.
Yeah. Did you move here to Edgewood or?
So I'm from Highlandtown originally, and my wife and I moved out here in 1984. I was a mechanic by trade, automobile mechanic, and by the late 1984, I was looking to open up my own place, and that's how we stumbled upon this place.
Mm-hmm. Were you interacting with any musicians when you came back up to that point, or everything started from this baby?
I had an acoustic guitar, and I was satisfied sitting around the kitchen table, with songbooks and playing, and that's all I was doing when we came here.
And so then how did this begin? How did it start in your mind?
So that's a great question. When we were looking for a shop to rent where I could fix cars, we stumbled upon this place. It was a one-line ad in the Bargainier. It said, "Garage business for sale." And when we came and looked at the garage, which is next door, and we can go over there when we're done if you want to take a picture.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was in need of a lot of help. But I was very young and ambitious, but the caveat was we couldn't just buy the garage business. We had to buy what was in here, and at the time that was called Brinkman's Hardware Store.
Okay.
And there was really nothing left of any value in here of the hardware store per se. And by that time, the big box hardware stores were expanding all over. Your Ace Hardware and your True Value and Heckinger. And so, we started out fixing cars over there. And in our spare time, we started cleaning this room out. And when I say cleaning it out, it was a mess. It looked like a hand grenade.
Oh, wow. Now, did it have the fireplace?
It was here, but you couldn't see it because when the Brinkmans bought this facility in 1950, and the American Legion moved up the street. The Brinkmans turned this into a hardware store, so they covered everything. This fireplace was covered with pegboard, so they could put displays on it.
Oh, okay.
And they covered the ceiling. They put a drop ceiling in all the way across, so they didn't have to heat that space. So we had no idea that was up there.
Oh, wow.
We had no idea this was here. We had no idea there was a ladies' room. There was so much stuff piled over in that corner that we didn't even realize that there was a ladies' room.
Wow.
So we, over the next several months, we came here, I think, in April of '84. And during the spring and summer, we just cleaning it out. And we had no idea what we were going to do. Some thoughts that crossed our mind was possibly a convenience store, because we were a gas station. We were a mom and pop gas station. And when you drove in here, either me or my wife ran out there and pumped your gas.
Oh, wow. I remember those days when I was a kid and they used to have the gas pumpers.
When we got the thing all cleaned out, we're like, we ought to have a party. And it was during that time when we were cleaning the place out, there was an older gentleman that lived out back who remembered this from his childhood, from when it was an American Legion dance hall. And he said, "Boy, they used to get her done over there, boy." And so we thought,
my kind of place.
Hey, the lights and the bells went off in my mind. So we're like, well, we got the thing empty. Why don't we have a little neighborhood party? So some friends of ours got in contact with a new local band, and we had a little party here with a band. And
do you remember the name of the band?
So they were so new that they didn't even have a name.
Oh, wow.
And
are any of them still playing? Can you tell us who?
One of the guys in the band to this day is one of my best friends. Yes. So, and I still cross paths with those. They went on and became Wild Eye, and they had some considerable success here in Norfolk County. And again, one of my dearest friends, Steve Cooney, is still close with me to this day.
Oh, good. That's so awesome.
So, so we did it. And here we are 41 years later, and we're still doing it. The first year that we did it, the band sat up and played in front of the window, and we had two pool tables, and they were both there.
Oh, okay. So
and then eventually, it might have been Spike, because by early '88, Never Never was forming, and we talked Spike into coming out and seeing if they would want to play here. And Spike came in, and he looked around, he said, "Well, first of all, the stage needs to be down there." So we built
He's an idea man.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, it's just been a group effort. There's a lot of people that help us do this. And,
That's so awesome.
Yeah, so here we are.
So, but before Spike, you said you were starting to have bands. Like, how often, and were you did you start charging? Like, how did that? How did it come?
Yeah, we did different things. If we had a local Harford County band, we might charge $5 or something to get in, and just have a good time.
Yeah, and did you always have food? Because I know it's has it always been bring your own?
We've had different caterers come in over the years. We've had a lot of help in that area back there too, and sometimes we would have events. It would be pitch a dish, but in recent years, it's more like we hire a caterer and he does that work back there.
So when you started, and did you have to start going through the county to get established?
Sure. So the very first hurdle that we had to overcome was the fire marshal. I had no idea what a fire marshal was. For the very first party / band we had here, the fire marshal showed up, and he said, "Well, what are you doing here?" I said, "Well, we're having a party," and he was really nice. His name was Michael Bond, and he said, "Well, it looks like you got everything under control here. I'm going to come back. I'm not going to, stop you from doing what you're doing." He said, "I'm going to come back Monday or Tuesday of next week, and I'm going to go through the place and make a list of all the things that you're going to need to do to satisfy us." And he did, and it was, a pretty extensive list, but it was all stuff that made common sense.
Yeah.
All about egress. If something goes wrong, people got to be able to get out of there.
Right.
And, he came in, he did the tour, and he left the list, and it's actually still hanging there at the front door from all the way back then.
Very neat.
And, we slowly but surely got all that stuff down, had him come back down, he checked us off, and we were able to have people then.
Yeah, very cool, very cool. How do you now determine who you want to have play here? What kind of process does that?
Well, that process started before the internet. And so back in the 80s and 90s, we were what you would call grassroots. We would go out and see various bands, and if we liked them, we would approach them and ask them if they might be interested in playing here. And
so how did you? Because I know that was before the internet, but even now, like, there's not too much out there, because I was looking and I could only find like a little bit. I know you have your website and stuff, but like, how did you pump up this place, or how did you get them to want to come here?
Well, again, back then, I mean, if you came here, we would ask you to sign your name and leave your phone number, and we compiled, a book of people's names and phone numbers. And then when we were going to do something, I'd sit at my desk with the phone and start calling people up and saying, "Hey, we're having a band here this Saturday if you want to come on out."
Oh, cool.
And that's really how it started.
And then how did you reach out to the bands? Did you call them, or did you have them come out here and take a look where they'd be playing?
We might go out and see them, or we might call them, or anything like that. And we were going out and seeing bands like Word of Mouth. Word of Mouth was a band that was a spin-off when the Ravens stopped playing. I guess it would have been around 84. They started another band with Rob Fahey and David Bell and Lee Townsend, and Spike was the drummer. And that's how we met that group of people. And we went out and saw Word of Mouth all the time, and their keyboard player was Vinnie DePaul from Crack the Sky.
Oh, wow.
And we became really, really good friends with all those guys. And, they knew that I fixed cars for a living. And when they would come out here to get their car fixed, I would come out and show them, what we were doing out here. And so it's kind of went from there. Yeah.
And I know in the summer you do stuff outside.
So we have a tent that we put up out there, and if people want to go out there and, just relax. But there was a time when we had an outside stage, and we would do stuff inside and outside.
And how does like the neighborhood handle the noise and all? Everybody okay with it and no issues?
We really try hard to make sure that we don't offend any of our neighbors. Now, fortunately, we're in a little business thing here, so there aren't a lot of neighbors nearby.
Right.
And the ones that are even back on Oak Street, we know them all pretty well.
So you have a lot of memorabilia. Can you talk about it a little bit? Do you have a favorite piece? Is there a favorite Club 66 sign that you have, or any of your favorite pieces?
It's hard to say any one thing is a favorite, because each and everything that you see up here represents something special that we've done here. So at one time or another, I might sway more towards this or that, but I mean, it's really all my favorites. They really are.
Yeah. You have a lot of different guitars. Are they all from different bands?
Yes. So for a good spell, and I got this idea from John Palumbo, when they used to do the Hammerjack shows every year back in like 86, 87, 88. At the end of every night, whatever guitar John Palumbo was playing, he kind of like toss it out into the audience as a souvenir. And I like that idea a lot. So then what I did for that spell, all these guitars you see everywhere, for maybe about a 10-year spell, when a show would be approaching, I would go to the store, I would buy 2 identical guitars. I would have the band that's going to play here that night sign both of them.
Oh, wow.
And we would raffle the one guitar off, and the other we would put on the wall. So for most of those guitars you see hanging up, there's a twin out floating around somewhere.
Oh, wow.
That somebody has one here.
That's neat.
That they get to have for their memorabilia. And again, got that idea from my friend John Palumbo, who did that.
So I want to take a step back and talk about the structural changes that you've made over the years in here, because I know you said you used to have the band play up top.
The American Legion had the band play up there. We never played up there at all. When we moved here, the Brinkmans had built that wall all the way up, and they made an apartment out of it. And the Brinkmans lived in that apartment upstairs, which is now the balcony.
Okay.
And like I say, we tore that wall halfway down and made it usable.
You built the stage.
Yes.
And you had the steps coming down.
We built all that. Yes.
You built the steps
built all
too.
That. Yes.
Oh, wow, that's neat. And did you have like that in mind? Like you were like...
It was a gradual process. As we would do one thing, it would grow into another.
So when like the bands first started coming, where did they load in from?
Right at the front door.
Right at the front door, yeah. Okay, very neat. This is just such a neat place. Has it overall, has Club 66 exceeded your expectations? Did you have expectations?
So we really didn't have expectations per se. And yes, it has exceeded everything I ever thought possible. To have some of the world famous people that have played here, I would have never ever thought possible 40 years ago.
And what are some of those bands that have played here? Or people?
Well, some of them I like to touch on. And again, without paying favorites to anyone, because again, I think that anytime we have a national act that has played here, it's very special. But, some of them that come to mind immediately, the original drummer of the Beatles, Pete Best, has played here 4 times.
Very cool.
And it's important to note that he played with the Beatles for over 2 years, played over 1,000 shows with the Beatles before he was replaced. So to have Pete Best from Liverpool play on that stage, kind of special.
Yeah.
Another one that comes to mind, plane crash surviving Leonard Skinner drummer Artemis Pyle has played here 3 times. There's a man that was on the plane that crashed that killed, many of the people with Leonard Skinner.
I know.
And he's played on that stage. Wow. So, some of them stick out. But again, I don't have any like favorites per se in that category.
Right.
I think it's all special.
Yeah, it is. It's very special. I know everybody always just talks about how they love coming here and how much it means to them. What's the capacity in here?
So it depends on how much floor space is. So the more we empty out the floor space, the more people can come in. Mm-hmm. But when we have it like this with chairs and tables, it's about 106.
Okay. How do you manage to keep it look? Because like the vibe is very like the people like when I was here, it's just very. It's like a tavern or a cavern or whatever. How do you keep it low key and?
Well, starting out, not knowing how this, would unfold, 40 years ago. It's just kind of the way it started. It was, a neighborhood thing. And if you were, from around here and you were here when it started, it was just kind of, my thought for anybody that's in a band that I think it's an honorable job, because when you're doing that job, you might be making somebody out here happy that might be having a bad day,
Yeah.
They could be sick, or there could be a death in their family. And when you're doing that, if you can bring a smile to somebody's face, then you're doing something nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've played up there many, many times and always love it.
How many shows do you have here about a year?
We currently, and for a long time, we try to limit it to about 10 or 12 shows a year. Mm-hmm. They're a lot of work. We never really make money per se. It's this. Mm-hmm. I make a good living fixing cars, and we feel like we're blessed to do what we do over here. Mm-hmm. And at the end of a show, if we have enough to pay the band, I'm happy.
Yeah.
So, and to keep it special like that, one show a month, that's enough. Mm-hmm. If you did it more than that, it might not be so special.
Definitely. What's the most exciting performance? It's not a favorite question, but like the most exciting performance you've seen here.
Boy, that's a great question. I wasn't prepared for that. Exciting. Yeah. Well, again, when Pete Best played here the first time, well, I'll tell you a story about that. I'm a huge Beatles fan. And I have records in my collection from when Pete Best was the drummer, and, always admired him. And all my friends know that I like the Beatles, and all my friends also know that I like a good joke. And so one day I'm out in the garage working, and the phone rang, and the lady on the phone, she said, "Hi." She said, "I've been given your number. I represent Pete Best of the Beatles, and we want to know if you would be interested in having a show here." And I immediately thought it was one of my friends playing a joke on me. And I immediately said, "Man, thanks for calling, but we got Ringo Starr booked this summer."
Oh, goodness.
And I hung up on her.
Wow.
And the phone rang right back. She said, "Please don't hang up. I do represent Pete Best, and we really want to know if you'd be interested in having me play there." And I said, "Ma'am, thanks for your time." I said, "But I know what kind of money Pete Best gets." I said, "and that's way out of our price range." Mm-hmm. And she replied by saying, "Well, Pete Best has gotten nothing but great reviews." I'm not sure the right word I'm looking for, but apparently other people had told Pete Best what a nice little place this was.
Wow.
And she said that he would be willing to work within our budget.
Look at that word of mouth.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So when he came here and set up and his band played the first time, that was very exciting. I never in my wildest dreams would think a Beatle would be walking through that door.
Yeah. How many people came to see that show?
About 100.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. So what year was that?
I'd have to look over there. I've got the ticket stubs hanging up, but I'd say it was probably, I don't know, around the year 2000.
Oh, okay. So it's pretty
Somewhere
recent. It's not like that far away. How much were the tickets? Can I ask?
I really don't remember. Mm-hmm. They were probably cheap. They were probably 30 or 40. It was too cheap.
Yeah.
We have a habit of not charging enough.
Yeah. that was a funny story, but do you have a funny story inside of Club 66? Some of the, like, one of the funniest things that's happened in here?
Well, we've done a lot of fun stuff over the years. Not only have we done shows, but we've had birthday parties here. We've had weddings here. We've had baby showers here. I mean, we've just done a lot of fun things here.
Wow.
I can remember for a few years, many years ago, we had one man who we've known forever. He would rent the place from us to have his daughter's birthday party here every year. And he would rent one of those gigantic blow up bouncy house. And it would literally take almost the whole space.
Wow.
And he would bring it in a day ahead of time and get it set up for the kids' parties the next day. And so the night before, you know, all of us adults would be here and we'd be playing in the bouncy house. You know,
that's so fun.
have a beer and then go in the bouncy house and play.
Oh, that's so fun.
Yeah, so,
That's so fun.
yeah, all kind of fun stuff.
What kind of, how many weddings have you had here, do you know?
I think four or five.
Yeah. That's pretty hard.
And I went online and got ordained a couple of years ago, and I've actually married a couple friends here.
Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. Yeah, I know when Brian and I were getting married, we had a couple people come up to us, and they were like, we can marry you if you want, if you need somebody. That was really nice. That's got to be special to do something like that.
In fact, pretty sure Spike got married here.
Oh, yeah?
Now, I didn't perform that ceremony, but, you know, it's just a lot of wonderful times.
How do you maintain those relationships and friendships? Like, because it's like how did it grow into a friendship? Like, because I know, like, Spike, everybody speaks warmly, but
So, you know, Cheryl and I are fans, and so when you go see a band enough times, they recognize that you're a fan, and you know, you start a relationship and become friends from there. And that's basically how it all started.
So how do you determine your, like, the opening acts? Because I know Spike and Tommy opened for Crack the Sky. So how do you do most bands have opening acts? A
lot of bands bring their opening acts. And a lot of bands don't. And then, you know, we try to find something that goes along with it well, but easy. Most of the times when we have an opening act here, most of the times we like to do an acoustic act just because simplicity and ease of operation. Now, sometimes bands play here, national acts that tour, they travel light. And so their their contract requirement is for us to provide what they call backline. And what that means is the venue, meaning us, we would provide the drums, the bass guitar amp, the guitar amps, and all that stuff. And when that's the case, then usually we'll get whoever is providing all that, we'll have them open up. And that way, again, it makes it a simple changeover because all the instruments are staying the same. So if you see a full band open up here, a lot of times it's because both bands are going to be sharing the equipment.
Is there a band that has performed the most? Like,
for sure, Crack the Sky.
Yeah, how many times have they?
Lost track.
Lost track years ago.
I guarantee you it's 50 times. I guarantee you. And that's one of the statistics that we're real proud of. Crack the Sky has played here more than any other band that has played here. Crack the Sky has played here more than any other place they've ever played.
Oh, wow, that's nice.
And Crack the Sky has been playing here longer than any other place they've ever played. So yeah, we got the record cinched up with Crack the Sky.
What year was their first?
It would have been right around 1990. And by that time, we were very close with everybody in the band. At the time, John and Mary lived right in White Marsh, and John used to bring their cars out here for me to service for him. And in passing one day when he was hanging out here, I asked him, I said, John, I said, what do you think about Crack the Sky playing here sometime? And, you know, at the time they were playing huge places like Hammerjacks and Merriweather Post Pavilion. And he said, I wondered if you were ever going to ask me that question. He said, I'm sure we could work it out. And we did. And
this is such like it's like it would be like an MTV Unplugged kind of place. Like it's got that vibe to it, like that feel.
And after that first show, what happened was they realized the potential for them. Whenever they would get a gig somewhere else, they would do the warm-up gig here the day before. Oh. So let's just say they were playing, you know, a large venue within 50 or 60 miles of here. Then they would book the day before here because they're all over the map. They live in West Virginia, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Maryland. So they could meet here the day before and practice. And then that night have a show here. And then they're ready to go for the big show the next day. And that worked well for a long time. We did that with them.
Yeah, that's a good setup.
And Rick Wachowski, he, you know, one of the nicest men on the planet Earth, has said to me many times, he said, I'd be happy just playing here. He's the best. That's
awesome.
He's the best.
Do people give you these pictures, or do you take them, like all the memorabilia?
So the 8x10 pictures are promo pictures that when we would book a band through an agency and they would send the contract, they would send a couple of those promo pictures.
Oh, okay.
So that's where they came from.
And what about, like, I see a license plate hanging.
Okay, so everything on the wall has a story. Everything. And that it came off of his father's car, and the car was a 1966 car. Oh. And so he asked if we could have. Of course, we could put it up. Yeah.
How did you determine, like, the furniture in here, the stool idea with the bars and stuff like that?
So most of the furniture is stuff that has showed up over the years, with the exception of the tables with the band logos. They were a generous gift from a man that used to come here all the time. He's retired in Florida now, but he still comes up once in a while. Fred Visnall, you're the best. Those tables that say Crack the Sky and Ravens and Never Never, they were something that he generously made and donated. He would bring one. He would come to a show and he'd say, I'm bringing my own table. And then he would leave them. And a lot of the other stuff, 90% of the stools and chairs out here have been donated over the years.
Yeah. I guess everybody's just got that nostalgic.
It's a group effort. It's a village, if you will.
Yeah. That's so neat. It's just got to be so cool to see the evolution of it to where it is now. And it's pretty cool. I know Dennis Shockett's bands have played here a lot. And
he has. Many of his bands have played here.
Yeah. And I bet they all just draw crowds. It's such a cool place. What are the flags up top? Are they military?
Yep, they're all military. I was in the Marine Corps, and a good percentage of our friends that come here are veterans that have military service. So that's why we put those up there. How
often does Memphis Suns play out?
We go in spurts. We've been on a little break, but this spring we'll pick back up and start playing out. I think we're up at the Falston Barrel House this spring and a few other places.
Yeah.
Just like this club, if we play out once a month, that's enough for me. Yeah. I like to keep it special.
I know in our talking you had mentioned that a book is going to be... Yes,
we're very excited. Thanks for bringing that up.
Of course.
The book that came out 2 years ago called All Things Crack is a Crack the Sky biography written by a wonderful man named Tyson Costco. And when he was researching that book, he came out here several times to interview me because he knew of the close relationship that I have with all the guys in Crack the Sky. And during the course of his research, myself included, and maybe some of the guys from Crack the Sky, brought up that you should maybe write a book about Club 66. So when the book came out, I actually, approached him and I said, "Hey, are you interested?" Mm-hmm. And he said, "Let me think about it." And he got back to me and he said he would really like to be a part of it. And we're over a year deep into the process. And in fact, today, a draft of the first 100 pages showed up in the mail today.
Wow.
And I can't wait to get home tonight to read it. I absolutely can't. So he's been coming here on and off, and we've had a lot of Zoom meetings. And he has also been meeting with several of the band players that have played here over the years. So I'm certain if he does half as good a job as he did on the Crack the Sky book, then I know it's going to be a great book, because he really went through a lot to put that book together. And I'm excited to think that even having started this with no plan, no roadmap, and to think 40 years later there's interest in a book about the place, I do find very exciting.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm sure there's some interesting stories that you have told him.
Yeah.
Maybe throw one my way.
I've got a few more to tell him. Nothing pops in my head right now, but the whole thing has been interesting. I mean, just to think where we're at and where we started, and still, we're still going.
Is there let me think of a good way to put it. Is there a fresher band that hasn't played here yet that you might have some interest, or do you go out much around town? Are there some local people that you're interested in maybe having here?
We like to get around town and check out, new bands and such. And so there isn't anybody on our radar right now, but the most recent one that we came across in the last couple of years is a young band called Experience.
Oh, okay. I've heard of them.
Wonderful young men, extremely talented, and they play the music of our generation, and they play it extremely well. Mm-hmm. And they get a lot of support from their parents, and they're tearing it up pretty good around here. So shout out to Experience. Those guys are going somewhere.
Yeah.
They're going somewhere.
And so where do you like to go besides Boston Barrel House? Where do you like to?
I don't have a particular place, that I go to. To me, it's who's playing there. Mm-hmm. So we get there. We get out to the Record Theater from time to time.
Yep.
Love it out there. The Record Brothers out there have done a phenomenal job with that place, and they always treat Cheryl and I like gold when we go out there.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
What do you do when you're not working on your cars and you're not having anything coming up here? What are your hobbies? What are your interests? What do you like to do?
There's not a lot of downtime for me. I work full-time out there, and now that's down to just Monday through Friday. For the first many years here, we were here 7 days a week, to get started and pay the bills. But I work out in the garage. I have the Memphis Suns. We try to rehearse once a week. Mm-hmm. I'm a Marine Corps veteran. I'm in the Harford County chapter of the Marine Corps League, so I do that once a month. And I have a wonderful family. I have a son and a daughter, and we try to, see as much of them as we can. But yeah, not a lot.
Do they come here a lot?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah. Do they live around here?
They do. So our son lives right in Aberdeen, and our daughter lives right in Joppatown. Mm-hmm. So we're lucky. We see a lot of them. Yeah. And, they both grew up here.
Mm-hmm. That's got to be a cool experience. Yeah. How old were they? Were they born?
So Ryan wasn't born yet, and Casey, my daughter, was probably 5 when we came here. And when the room was still empty and no stage, and we were cleaning it out, we would pile everything in the middle, and her girlfriend Jennifer would roller skate around here all day long.
That's so fun.
All day long.
That's a nice memory. That's heartwarming.
It's a great memory.
Yeah. I bet you had a lot of fun. It's like kind of, you imagine like when you're watching a TV show and like a sitcom, and they get some new and they're all sweating and dust everywhere and cleaning and setting it up. That's really neat. That's really so cool. It's so like structurally cool. Like you couldn't have asked for anything better for what this turned into being.
Yeah.
What kind of legacy do you want to leave?
You know, I don't never think about a legacy. You know, I just hope people that have come here, you know, I hope they have warm regards for what my wife and I try to do here. If people come here and they had a good time, that's enough for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you had anybody of notoriety been an audience member where you were like surprised that they came or anything like that?
You know, I don't know if anybody of any notoriety has ever sat out here before. Nothing comes to the top of my head. One of the bands who played here, I think they were called Second Self. Couple of the guys in that band, their father was Jim Hunter, and he was an announcer for the Orioles for years, and we thought that was cool.
Oh, yeah, that is cool.
Hey, that's Jim Hunter.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that was cool. You know, I don't know if you remember on Channel 45 before he passed away, they had a guy that used to ride around in the mornings called Traffic Jam Jimmy. And so he would ride around and, you know, check in on the traffic. And he'd pop out in the mornings once in a while and say hi and how's things going. But yeah, anytime somebody pops in or comes up out here, it's like, oh, that's nice, you know.
Have you ever done any like musicals or any dinner theater type things here?
No, we haven't done that.
Or like a murder mystery?
I think we did a murder mystery one time. Yeah. There's a yacht club not too far from here that flooded out maybe 20 years ago, and they didn't have use of their facility while they were redoing it. So we let them use our facility, and they had a murder mystery. We did a couple of comedy nights before, like a 98 Rock comedy night.
That's fun.
We did a couple of those.
Yeah.
But we find that the main thing that people like coming here for is live music.
Yeah. I'd imagine so. Anything else? Any last thoughts? Anything you want to share? Any stories? Anything?
Only that we are very appreciative for the support we receive, not only from the people that come for shows, but the bands that come here and play. We're very appreciative of that, and we never take it for granted.
Yeah, because it's a lot of word of mouth.
It is.
It is very much word of mouth.
And we never take that for granted. You know, it's a lot of work, but, you know, at the end of the day, it makes a lot of people happy.
I noticed when I was here, there's a picture of Rob Fahey with hair. I said, oh, that looks like a 1980s poster for a movie. It's very cool.
Yeah. That was his album he put out. It was called Rob Fahey and the Pieces. And the album was called Breaking and Entering. And it's a fantastic album to this day. If you put that album on, it sounds as fresh today as it did 30 years ago. Highly recommend it. I
had the opportunity a couple years ago. I saw Rob Fahey and the Pieces at the Coop when the Coop had opened for that brief period of time, and they were great. They really were. It was a great show. Yeah,
Rob's a top shelf guy.
Yeah,
and a great friend of ours. Great friend.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess that's about all I have.
Well, I want to say it's a pleasure having you here.
Oh, it's a pleasure being here, and the pleasure's mine.
Great luck with your podcast.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. And keep an eye out for the book, and keep an ear open for activities at Club 66, and maybe you'll make your way out here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's been a real pleasure.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Yay.